Alright, hit the record button, and I guess welcome everyone. This is the recap to Bismarck's Paradox Thursday, Friday game. So by this point, we have played 2 sessions. The year is 1556, and we are going to start with the nation of Great Zimbabwe, partly because I'm fairly certain this is a custom nation and I have no idea what the tag is, so if I don't start with it, I'd have to load out and load back in as them. That'll just waste a bit of time. So the Great Zimbabwe players started as Kilwa, and they seem to have they're doing the Kilwa thing of eating up all of East Africa. They've got most of Madagascar locked down. This is a vassal, I believe, and got a few provinces. They have some colonists they're not currently using. Not sure if they just finished or he was not paying attention for a little bit, but he is I don't know, gobbling up the land. A few more provinces to annex. It's somewhat not as rich as I would think. He doesn't seem to have many advisors going right now, and high inflation as one would expect. And actually, gold income is quite a bit lower than I think what it should be. Let's go ahead and check out these gold provinces. So there are quite a few. So yeah, he's got all 4 of them, and he hasn't really dev'd any of them, which I don't really think is correct. I think this is probably first thing you should do. Like, you don't care about inflation, it's whatever. Put on your development edict quickly, and this one doesn't have prosperity just yet, so you can probably wait a year or 2 if money's not the biggest issue. But I would and you've got admin dev on this, which is a little awkward, but I would get all of these gold mines up to 10 production as soon as I could, and just using what you have stored in your Diplo, then your income has gone up by like 12, and you can afford some better advisors. So while that will hurt your inflation, I don't think that really matters. I guess after a certain point, and when you stop killing all of the AI around you, you're going to have plenty of extra admin. You can also use your piety interaction to just debase, get some free money, reduce it immediately. So that's good. Slowly converting some of the country. Go ahead, look at estates first. Yeah, you seem to have your free monarch points and some monopolies here, which I'm not think you'd probably want to get rid of them when you can. I think if you had your gold provinces better dev'd before, I don't think you would have needed to sell these out to the nobility. You have Argeran as a vassal as well. That's very nice. That's a lot of easy reconquest cores. Diplomatically, you are friends with Bengal and Sokoto, which is pretty nice. I'm the Sokoto player, and I'm happy to have a friend to my south, as you can see, I'm currently at war with the Andalusians, and that is partly why Zimbabwe has no money, I remember, because they joined the war, and they want to keep Europeans out of Africa, as Africans tend to do, and they cannot send their armies to help me, as there is one province here that cannot be discovered, or that he cannot walk through because it is not discovered. So that's awkward and annoying for him and for me. But I suppose what he could do is he could start spying on me and try and steal my maps of that. But that would take a while. He is spying on some others for cores and claims. or rather, uh, what else can we do? How is his development looking? Uh, yeah, he's got a lot of time to dev. I guess he's been spending most of his time conquering his land, so once he stops spending all his points that way, he should be able to start pushing everything to 10 and then later to 20 and build buildings, and he should have the mass majority in this trade node, which once again, once he starts putting the production development up, it is going to be very, very rich because there is so much ivory. Like, all of this is ivory, which is absurd. Like, get all of these to at least 6 production or so, and you'll be swimming in money from trade. Check out his ideas. He went expansion first to just claim some of that free land. He is working on quantity and trade as well, which, yeah, I suppose trade does make some sense. There's lots of trade nodes around him to feed in, so he just gets the extra merchants. He needs 1, 2, 3, 4 just for sort of his own backyard, and then maybe 1 in the Gulf of Aden to get that money as well. Let's take a quick look at his ideas, as these are custom. He gets inflation reduction, which is very valuable with all that gold income, and extra attrition for enemies, which doesn't really seem too useful, but the ambition is nice. He's got morale and manpower once he finishes 21 ideas. Advisors is nice. The tolerance is met, but probably better in this mod as the penalties are worse. More trade efficiency, legitimacy is meh. He gets 1 free Diplo skill for his monarch. That is strong. Like, as I earlier said, he wants to dev up all those ivory provinces in production, and that's just going to be turned, like, this is just more money, which is great. And he's got manpower recovery speed and very good siege thing as well. So he's not the strongest military nation, but it is going to turn him into a money-making machine later on with that trade efficiency and the extra monarch power. As for his king right now, he's got average king and thoroughly average heir, and with the old king right now, I suppose he's 40, so there is some risk in disinheriting this heir, especially if you are going to manage to discover this province somehow and cross into Sokoto lands and fight the Andalusians. I don't think he has that much interest in fighting that war. He's not going to gain anything himself other than an ally to eventually fight the Portuguese over this land, and eventually South Africa as well. Because if he takes South Africa for himself, not only is that good chance for more gold provinces and coal later on, it's also one more trade zone in between him and his home trade node to keep so that Europeans cannot steal it as easily. If he keeps this as his home trade node and has complete control over the Cape, then British, Europeans, and Andalusians will need trade power here and trade power here to start stealing his money. So that's probably his priority. Makes sense that he's going to continue to push north into Ethiopia, and this seems like it's going to be possibly in the area of conflict, as we've got 3 player nations all sort of converging in this one area here. We've got the Mamluks, we've got Sokoto, and Zimbabwe all pushing into this last little corner. So there may be wars, or a bunch of diplo may be needed to be done to divide up this land or avoid conflict. Militarily, he's a little bit of professionalism. His morale, as we saw, he has no morale ideas, so that might be something that he wants to look at soon. And force limit is still quite low, so that means he's going to need to build up more buildings. He needs his manpower. It's not too bad. Could definitely lower than most of his neighbors. So This is a country that needs quite a lot of time to build up, ramp up. Yeah, barely any production buildings, barely any manpower buildings, probably no force limit buildings, as those should be following the manpower as well. So his ideas also, I think he's starting to finish up the last few provinces to colonize, and I think he should consider canceling. Once there's only a few provinces left, you can probably just remove expansion and take eco or something else to help you develop all of these fantastic trade goods. And you may want to start looking into some sort of military idea group that gives what's it called? That gives morale. Like maybe, yeah, defensive might go well with the extra attrition that he gets through his national ideas, but yeah, at this point, this country is going to be relatively weak militarily, but very, very rich once you can get it set up properly. So let's go ahead and continue on the Africans. For now, we'll go up to Africa, then in through Europe and head east. So this is my country of Sokoto. I am currently at war with Andalusia. So it's most, looking at the war screen, it seems to be fairly unbalanced. I've got 50% war score, so I can start stab hitting. But as you saw, my only close ally is unable to help. I'm also allied with Britain, who's fairly, not to be mean to him, he has tried to land on some of the islands, but he got beaten back by the airgun galleys, which are super buffed in the mod. Otherwise, I am also being funded by Zimbabwe and Bengal, who is in the war but is not sending any troops. He is sending moral support and ducat support, which is partly why I don't have any loans yet. However, I am losing quite a bit of money, as I have gone over my force limit by about 50 to beat back the Andalusians. Sokoto has very good military ideas, which is what's keeping letting me beat the Andalusians 1 versus 1. Our armies are roughly the same size, although I do have the greater I bought more mercs than he has, so I've been winning the battles. My ideas, quantity, and almost finished quality as well. So once I finish that, I'll get another 5% discipline, which I already have 5% through my national ideas. I have 10 morale, and oh no, this is the morale recovery, and then this is the 10 morale through ideas. So not the greatest military ideas in the world, but they are not bad at all. As you can see, I'm at about 4.5 morale. I believe I also have the morale advisor giving me some help there. And I had 105 discipline, which is good, but was slightly annoying to me in that before this war started, I had a 3 discipline advisor, and I got the 10 discipline event, and immediately when that expired, Andalusia decked on me just as it was expiring. So a little bit of poor luck on that part, but had I had that, then I might be able to bring the fight to Andalusia itself. As it is, I guess I'm controlling the war goal. I have my own forts and the war score, so I don't really see a reason to push any deeper. My manpower is relatively low, but I can recover it well and fight on my own territory. Andalusia, to get to me, has to walk through this low supply limit desert provinces, so that definitely hurts him, and I figure if I try to bring the fight to him, I'll just immediately lose all my manpower sitting on desert provinces with only 20 supply. So I don't see a reason for myself to push. As for my expansion options, I did take expansion ideas second to fill out some of the land, which is pretty much all gone. So I will probably be dropping expansion ideas after this war. However, it turns out in favor of economic. However, I could also try with my next idea group, which is coming up not too far away, maybe to get in the colonial game. That is an option. I could. So Sokoto being sort of central in Africa, I have option to try and expand this way. I have an option to try and expand this way, and I have an option to go this way or to the west into the New World. Personally, I haven't decided, but I feel like the New World option is likely the weakest, and with the obvious enemy status of Andalusia now, going north seems to make the most sense, although I probably would need someone in Europe to put pressure on from the other side. Otherwise, these desert forts and passages will be painful. As for development, there's lots of red stuff, lots of room to develop some very good trade goods in this area too. I think it's probably mostly food and mostly grain. So once I'm able to get the tech for soldiers' households and the money for them, my manpower should shoot all the way up. It's already at 150k, which not the best, but not bad at all. And then the other thing that I will have to do is likely make some sort of trade agreement with England, as I control most of the Ivory Coast land, which is all fantastic provinces of dyes, slaves, ivory, coffee, which are quite rich, but I cannot collect there, as the Europeans just get tons of free trade power through trade companies and other things. So if I can negotiate one with that will help boost my income up, which right now is quite high thanks to the 20 subsidies. And also I have taken, when Andalusia decked this war, I took a lot of my missions to increase my income. So I took this production efficiency one, and there was another one I believe that gave me some sort of trade efficiency or something. So my income is currently a little bit inflated, and I will need to build up manufacturers, which just came online for a lot of my land with all of these dye, cloth, and salt provinces. After those are done, I should be making more respectable money without outsider help, and I can start building up the army and being quite scary. So you can see I don't have my colonists working, as I was busy in the war, but I guess I just have 2 provinces left to grab. With that done, I'd say let's go ahead and move north. What is the Andalusia tag again? It is ADU. So Andalusia has, as we saw, is on the other side of this Sokoto war, has a vassal in Yao, which a little bit before this he was able to ally and then eventually vassalize after he colonized these desert provinces. So he's used that as a staging ground for an invasion. He's got Aragon as his personal union from the event, but he doesn't have the free event to instantly integrate it, so I'm curious when he's going to try that. Otherwise, outside of this war, which we've already looked on, and I guess we can quickly look at his military before moving on, he is basically out of manpower. However, he does have considerably more army professionalism than Sokoto does. His morale is about the same level, and his discipline is about the same. He does have all of his ideas finished, which gives him a bit of an edge, but it's only the quantity ideas group. He doesn't have the quality that Sokoto has. But what he does have, which is what's really hurting me and forced me to go over force limit to beat him 1v1, is his fire damage received, which is quite strong. Also, Andalusia does have some really good ideas, mission bonuses that he can get. So I forget exactly where they are, but there is one or two that gives him. I was looking through. There's none that he can pop right now, but there's some. Yeah, he's got this idea, this mission here that I suppose he can try and get later. Yeah, after he integrates Aragon, and what else does he need? So he would need to turn on Portugal and integrate Aragon for that, but then he's got 10% morale mission, which is very good if you plan on a war. So if he can somehow get that later and come back, then that would be terrifying for me. Otherwise, we can see he has some. Yeah, he's been colonizing La Plata and the side of Chile a bit, so he does not yet have. Oh no, it is a colonial nation, but it's not yet strong enough to be really relevant. His allies are Portugal and France, who are not helping him in this war. And looking at France, I don't really blame him, as that's a sad-looking France. We'll get to that. What is it? Where it'll go? Yeah. Development-wise, he seems to have his home region or his capital state quite well done. Aragon is doing a really good job of developing all that land for him, but he also has lots of room to dev up these provinces. He's got great prosperity, so he should be making pretty good money. Curious what his trade efficiency compared to Portugal is. Although he is getting most of the node, so Portugal is currently collecting there. So I'm wondering if these two, if Portugal does continue playing as there are problems with his nation, that they should probably work out some trade agreement between them. Whoever has the highest trade efficiency should probably have the other transfer trade power to them, and then just subsidize the other. Has a relevant policy that he hasn't put in. Tech is all up and good. Right, I remember he's got very, very high crown land, so he's going to soon be able to sell all of that to the nobility, which is going to be very good for his manpower pools. It's already 150k, and if he is able to give 100% to nobility, that's going to skyrocket him up. He doesn't seem to have the free monarch points, which I suppose is debatable on how much or how badly he wants to get all of that manpower quick, because if he does do that, that's 10% to clergy, 10% to emirs, and 10% to merchants. That's going to set back his crown land to sell to the nobility for a while, but I don't know. I personally would think that the monarch points are a little bit more valuable. As for his expansion routes, Morocco is AI and free land whenever he wants it. He can also annex Aragon when he feels like it, although the Aragon is a player at this point, so I don't know what their plans exactly are. And even though he's allied with France, this France looks very weak and very much in trouble. So if I was Andalusia, this would be a strong contender, a strong idea for a possible backstab to achieve free land. You could probably speak with Britain and easily, or even you don't really need to speak with Britain, because there's no way that Britain by himself can beat you on land. You could probably grab most of southern France, if not more, for yourself. Burgundy isn't a player. Austria doesn't have any vassals in this immediate region, so your only other competitor for French land would be Britain, which Britain is allied to Austria and Sakota, which could be a problem for you if they are able to bring them into a war over French land, but without conflict, there's in my view, you could probably take the rest of the Valencia node and most of the Bordeaux node without issue if you are the type of player to backstab your ally. Yeah, he is slowly converting most of his country, which is good. Some things, small countries unstated. He's under his governing cap, which means, yeah, if he doesn't want a player on Aragon, then I think it's probably time to start thinking about integrating them. But otherwise seems to be a very strong country. Yeah, needs to do some development, probably some he's pretty good on his manufacturing buildings. Some good trade, some cloth provinces to build up on. How's his barracks doing? Yeah, barracks doing very well. So, yeah, got a lot of force limits. So he is a very well built up country. However, yeah, his next problem is going to be all these yellow provinces for his manufactories. He's going to want to try and push the development of all these provinces, or maybe delete these mosques to get his manufactories up. So, room strong for now. Room to get even stronger as there's free land and possible alliance betrayal and PU integration to be done. Next, let's look at Portugal. And I think we're just going to do a very, very quick look at Portugal, as I think there is a lot of there's some game issues in this Portugal, like that the player apparently was unable to build navy, even after some rehosting. We can see that he's kind of suffering with stability. I know he previously had a internal conflicts disaster, which is not good. I think he's got his some colonies up in the Caribbean, in Colombia, and in Brazil, but it is in a difficult position, partly through game bugs, and also he was trying to go Inti, I believe. So I'm not sure if he did succeed in going Inti or not, but many of his provinces are. He previously went Sunni to match his Andalusian friend. So would be interested to see how if this country needs a bunch of save fixes or not. So without any further ado, let's move on to France, which is not looking too hot. And he still has most of the core French lands. He's got an ally at his back, but he is enemies with Britain, who has a little bit of land up here, and he is enemies with Austria, and more importantly, Austria's ally Milan. So France, I believe, previously had some land down in Milan. He has vassals in Savoy. He has a PU on Naples and a PU in Florence. And you can also see that he was forced to he just lost a war to Austria and all of Austria's allies, and was forced to release Auvergne and Armagnac, which, because it was AI Burgundy leading the war, it wasn't exactly the most punitive peace deal Burgundy could make, but it's still not good to lose, 14, 21, 40 development, 25 development there. What the? Holy crap. Alright, that is one tall ass Auvergne. But yeah, so that's like 70, 80 development there that just got released. So I would not be happy if I was a French player. You can go ahead and look in army while you... we're not paying for the army, so our morale's down, but our force limit is quite a bit lower. It's at 104, whereas Andalusia is sitting at about 160. So he's got a ways to go to try and improve his country. His crown land is relatively low. It'll be a long time before he can sell to the nobility because of all the wars that he's been fighting and unfortunately losing. Ideas-wise, he basically has his ideas complete, which will give him that extra discipline. He does have that French élan, which is fantastic with his quantity and then quality almost being finished. So he finishes this and he goes up to 110 discipline with all of the other bonuses he gets. So that should make him strong. Yeah, if we turn on the army maintenance, what is his morale at? Really? Only 4.2. That feels a little bit lower than it should. Although maybe if he had if he has a morale advisor, that should go up to a good bit. Yeah, 4.5. That's a little bit higher than the others we have seen. As for, since he lost that war, you can see there's lots and lots and lots of devastation, no prosperity at all in his country. Oh, yeah, it looks like he didn't even push into Burgundy at all during that war. All the fighting was done on his land or in Italy, so perhaps if he's able to integrate his vassals anytime soon. He has had this PU going for 50 years, which is great. But he does not have a good chance of just getting it for free, so he's going to unfortunately have to spend his Diplo. He's not far behind, so that's fine. He can easily spend the points themselves. Developmentally wise, he has not had the luxury of being able to develop most of his lands at all. Still a lot of things below 10, which is not good for him. What is it? Yeah, manufactories or workshops, still a lot to build, a lot of manpower to build, and manufactories he has not started building any, which is going to be a problem for him. Oops. What did I do with that? Well, anyway, he's going to need to start building his buildings, deving his country. I don't know if he's really strong enough to fight anyone. Seems to be fairly boxed in, unless he's somehow able to. Even if he does betray Andalusia and get someone to help him, I'm not really sure that Andalusia could be beaten. Perhaps France could, if France wants to do a switch and get Sokoto in on that. That might be one way to do it and expand this way, because you can see he seems to be fairly locked in out of the east and the HRE. Provence is not allied or guaranteed by any player, so I think if he doesn't have a truce with them. Yeah, I think he should immediately deck on. Oh, it's protected by Burgundy. They're in the Empire. That's a pain. And Burgundy is allied with 2 players who very much dislike France. So probably the only way out of this for France is Diplo. They need either Andalusia to back them in a war so they can reclaim some of their land in Burgundy. They have 2 cores to reclaim. They've got land in Provence to take. So, and the Burgundian inheritance never fired, which is unfortunate for France and Austria both, but probably in this situation maybe a little bit better for France, because if Austria had gotten land up here, then Austria would be able to directly claim and deck on France for France's land. As it is, Austria cannot take any land without Burgundy basically leading the war. So yeah, France needs to do some Diplo. France needs to either make friends with Milan or Austria, or come to some sort of agreement or cooperation with them to allow him to claim more land, get some breathing space, and start building up his country. His manpower is still like very respectable, but he doesn't have the money to do it. He's paying. Oh, he doesn't actually have any loans, which is good for him, but he's still losing quite a lot of money. Yeah, his income is still quite low, so unless he can somehow fix that, I don't really see where this France is going to go. They're going to stay weak otherwise, so perhaps making friends with Austria and helping them fight to the east could be your best way, or just have Andalusia and Dithmarschen on your side and trying to get this Burgundian land. So, fairly rough spot. Let's move on to Britain. So, we look at Britain, who is allied with Austria and Sokoto. Britain starting to get their colonies up, has just starting to get Texas, has 13 colonies, which is, or rather a George Bush Western Oil Company, which has been beaten by the natives, so he's going to want to fix that. And he's also started on Canada, but I think that was just to get colonial arranged to get here. No one has yet moved into Mexico, which is interesting. This is very late for that, so were I Britain, this would be my immediate priority, is colonize this. Or, no, you don't need to colonize it if you have exploration and economic. No expansion yet. But I would immediately fabricate claims on this and get yourself a Mexico, because a Mexico colonial nation is lots and lots of money, lots of free force limit, and lots of free gold coming in. Estates-wise, Britain doesn't have the the nobility estate, which kind of sucks because he loses out on that one free military power. He does not have the burgher power, so I think that's probably something that he should look to do soon. He can seize land unless he's planning on doing some deving immediately, so he should probably do that. His king is average, his heir is not bad at all. Making some money, so he needs to get his advisors and maybe bump them up 1 or 2 points. Very high inflation, as I think he had a bit of a rough start going on, but he seems to be in a great position. He has basically all the English Channel to himself. Burgundy is an AI, so I would, being the fact that you're friends with Austria and that Burgundy's only allies are players, I would, and you have your vassal in Flanders, I would very much want to be asking. Wait, no, why is his trade so? He does have all of the Dutch trade port. Oh no, he doesn't have Calais. He lost Calais. Okay. So doesn't have like higher than 80 or whatever that you'd like to see yourself have as an England without these 3 trading provinces, but should definitely try and push this province up to level 3 center of trade, just to, I don't know, that should push him up to like 65-66%. And maybe then if he puts on, oh no, he does have the protect trade going on, so yeah, I don't guess his priority, keep the British trade, get Mexico going. His prosperity should be good. Yeah, it's good. Just needs a few more states that are almost there, and he should be making a lot of money, especially once his colonial nations get up and going. I wonder if he has deals with Austria to let him into certain parts of the HRE, because this is nice English land if you can get it. Dithmarschen is up here in Scandinavia, who is probably going to be a natural land enemy, being that I think Dithmarschen would view all of this area as his expansion route. So that's, and being the fact that Dithmarschen is allied with, well, not allied with France anymore, they were before. So, okay, if Dithmarschen and England are not currently enemies or have any conflicts, then perhaps they could. Dithmarschen might want to cozy up to Britain if they haven't jumped on the France bandwagon. As once Britain's navy gets built up, they're currently only about 120, which, as their colonial nations get bigger and bigger, it should shoot up. So once they start getting like 100, 200 lights in the Lubeck node and they lose all this money, it might be better for Dithmarschen to make nice with England and have a trade agreement and just push that money there and get subsidized in return. But strong nation. He has a little bit of land in Ivory Coast to start pushing that down. He's missed out on the South Africa bandwagon, but if Portugal is dying and going to be an AI, he might be able to come to some sort of deal with Great Zimbabwe for a few ports so that he can reach India and colonize Australia, or start trying to make his way into Malaya. I guess there's still a lot of AI provinces in Coromandel, so if he feels like trying to scoop some land from under Bengal and Marwar's noses, he could go for that and grab maybe Ceylon would be a good point. I don't think Bengal would have a navy to beat Britain as it gets bigger, so that could be something for him to consider, but otherwise despite having a rough start against France in the first few years of the session, he's on his way to being typical England, rich and navy. So let's move on to Dithmarschen. What is Dithmarschen? I do not know this tag. What is your... It is DTT. Okay. Down to trade. So Dithmarschen, currently eating Brandenburg, has taken most of his North Germany area, getting all of this East Frisian land. Got some Sweden to eat up. However, most of it already been gobbled by Russia, so I am curious if there's any diplo between Dithmarschen and Russia, because at the very least, Dithmarschen, you should try to grab Gotland and Sjaland. Sweden's not really allied to anyone relevant, so you should be able to get that. Lubeck and Bremen currently not your land. That should probably be your next priority. You could probably vassalize one or two of them to keep your trade power up. Lubeck right now just beating you out by quite a bit in this node, so probably eat them as soon as possible. I know Burgundy's the emperor, and are they a free city? I forget if Lubeck is a free city or not. Oh no, that's just because it's an OCB war. So get a CB on them. They're not a free city, so Burgundy won't protect them, vassalize them, I think, so they get all the trade power for you with their crazy ideas and government form. Otherwise, you're just going to be eating a lot of AI. Your manpower, very, very high. I think you should be good on buildings. You've built up your nation pretty well for manpower. You've got manufactories on every province, so that's not a crap trade good. You have built some temples, which you might need to be deleting soon in favor of... you've got manufactories to build, so you should probably delete those temples in favor of manufactories when you have the money. And not really many force limit buildings, so those you should also turn your temples into those. Yeah, it looks like you had some sort of war, as you have no prosperity at all, so that should get your money up when you do your income. Not bad for a nation of your size. You are in the rich Lubeck trade node, so that does help you. You're with 10 income, you can probably try and up your advisors a little bit more. And oh right, because Dithmarschen has this government thing, you don't have your nobility estate, which is somewhat unfortunate. You lose out on that. So yeah, without the nobility, I don't really know why you're going for high crown land. You should probably just start selling it. You do not have your monthly diplo power, so you could do that as well. Development-wise, seems to be going as it should. A lot of this land isn't necessarily the best, although the Danish land is quite good. It's all grasslands. Not farmlands, unfortunately, but good land to dev when you have the time. Yeah, lots of diplo power. So yeah, you can probably I would sink all this diplo power into deving some of your good trade goods. You don't really need to take diplotech ahead of time. You got the meta of quantity, quality, eco. I am also curious if you're going to go ahead and farm Hanover when you can, or if you're going to stay true to the peasant dictatorship. Hanover has pretty good ideas. Last I checked, they have, I think it's less shock taken. But yeah. So as for allies, seems you have set yourself up as an enemy of Austria. You were previously allied to France. I'm not sure if that alliance broke down or if that's just annulled treaties. But you are now friendly with Ruthenia and, by extension, probably with Russia. So you're looking good. You still have a lot of room to grow. I would check with Russia if you haven't already, try and grab what bit of Sweden you can for yourself. Otherwise, you've just got a lot of HRE miners to eat. How is your Diplo? Or sorry, your coalition. Oh, damn. Your coalition is absolutely non-existent. So, yeah, get more claims, eat land, grow as fast as you can. Yeah, unfortunate thing is there's not really any other people that have been eating up all the HRE miners, so if you eat too much, a coalition could be rather deadly. Army-wise, force limit's 57. Well, your morale is quite high. That's Advisor, your Dithmarsch, and the Peasants' Republic. Oh, you got Army Reform. That's why it's so high. So that's nice. Nice for you. And, damn. Really high. Bismarck military. Small but strong. Holy crap. So yeah, just a lot of land to eat, a lot of expansion to do, and it's looking good. Yeah, no real enemies nearby that can hurt you. So let's move into Austria, who, with all of these vassals, all of this land, is also looking quite scary. They are number 4, great power. They're really not that high over governing cap, but once Hungary gets eaten and Bohemia gets annexed, they should be good. They have managed to lose the emperorship, but they're due to get it. Oh no, they're not getting it back. Oh no, they are. Okay, I see. Dithmarschen is voting for them. Okay. So that will be good for them. That should give them a bit more money, a bit more manpower, which they're currently quite low on. I know last session they've been spending a lot of their time trying to prop up their friend in Milan. And they've done the good thing for Austria. They've taken a relevant trade node, as Vienna trade node is quite weak, but yeah, making very good money from that. Holy crap. 50 ducats a year, over 100. That's very nice for Austria. Yeah, probably put these advisors up to at least level 3. Yeah, good king for now. Crap one coming, maybe disinherit if you feel like risking it. Starting to bulk up on crown land, and you have all your estates set up well, so that's looking nice for you. Oh yeah, don't want to do that with the rebels. Not a lot of prosperity in your lands, but your subjects are fairly prosperous. And your gold mine up to 10, and you'll eventually get your gold mine from Bavaria once you integrate them. You have lost a big old chunk of 100% land taken from Ruthenia, which is probably not going to make you the happiest. So this obviously seems to be your enemy, but you yourself are quite strong. If Milan can beef themselves up, then they would be they're going to need to be your ally for that. But being that Ruthenia is backed by Russia, I don't really know if Austria can go that way alone. So, like I said with France, maybe there is a reason for Austria to let up on France if they are willing to support them against Ruthenia and Russia, who both look quite scary and in the way. Austria has most of the Balkans land. I believe that he spoke with Mamluks, and they basically agreed that this rough line in the Aegean Sea is as far as he wants to go. He's got all Bulgaria to eat, which is very good land. And he's looking strong. He's looking good. Still Catholic, which I'm curious if he's going to want to flip or stay the same. We saw Dithmarschen went Orthodox. Army-wise is fairly low now that since he doesn't have Emperor. Very good discipline though, with quality. His idea is he's got eco, quality, quantity, which is quite good. He'll get another 5%. It's only 3%. Damn. It's not as good as I would have thought. Also curious if he wants to stay as Austria, being that their ideas aren't necessarily the best. Dev-wise, his land is a little bit hard to dev as it's mostly hills, woods, and mountains, but once he gets Hungary, that's all farmlands and grasslands, which is going to be fantastic. Buildings, lots of building room to do for manpower, it doesn't seem like he's done really any building, but now that he's making tons and tons and tons of money, that should probably be his next priority. I think probably if he can integrate Hungary first, start deving the land, spending his massive amounts of money on building, he should be good. Obviously, he wants to protect against Ruthenia and probably start moving in on more of this Bavarian land in the Vienna trade nodes to get more of it into Venice. He does have a number of vassals. He's got 3 leagues. He does have Ansbach as well, who does not have any cores, which is somewhat unfortunate. But also another country looking in the same nice spot, probably a little bit more ways for him to scale up and get stronger than some others we've seen. And probably other than Russia, he's probably fighting for the title, especially once he integrates his vassals of strongest nation in Europe. He's definitely far stronger than France. Andalusia is somewhat closely behind, and Britain, Dithmarschen are obviously a tier below, but they need time to ramp up, and then they can. But this is surprisingly a very strong Austria. So let's go ahead and move into Milan, or it's MLO, right? So, first thing I want to check with Milan, is he an Ambrosian Republic? No, he is not. He did not get the event, or I think the original Milan player died, and then this is the original Gosselar player who swapped over. But, so, he has most of northern Italy, but not nearly as much land as he would like, and I don't really like his position right now. And oh, he's going to be going bankrupt. It seems he's losing money. Yeah, he's paying. Yeah, his income is 31, and his interest is 29. So this is basically a vassal of Austria. And were I the Milan player, I would be doing absolutely everything I can to make sure that the France player and the Austria player do not ever reconcile or work together, because you are exclusively surrounded by Austria to the north, who you cannot turn on, and France's vassals to the south, and then France to the west. Good news for you is maybe Austria would be willing to snap up these Provence lands for you. You don't have any claims on them, but they're not allied or guaranteed by France yet, or owned by France. So I think that makes that makes some good targets. You need land, and there's currently no way for you to get land. It's either France, Austria, or Aragon, none of which you can do on your own. So, and I don't see why Austria would want to let, or why Austria would fight Andalusia for you. That seems a little bit far away, but maybe more France wars would be good. So, yeah, if France dies, then you get the rest of Italy and you become a strong country. If France does not die, you are stuck here on how much development? Just 300, and you're doomed to be irrelevant. You're the same size as Dithmarschen, but with none of the expansion opportunities. So you've got a little bit more gold to spend. You should probably build these. Build some of these workshops or build barracks. Yeah, you haven't done any building, so you can get stronger through buildings. You just need the money to do so. But yeah, this is a grim outlook for your country. No prosperity either, which doesn't help you. So, yeah, sad to say you're kind of at the mercy of your neighbors and your allies. So we'll move on to Ruthenia. What is Ruthenia's tag? Oh, just wrong twice. Oh, it's Ukraine. That makes sense, but I wouldn't have guessed that. So we have Ruthenia, who I believe started as Poland and swapped over to Lithuania as you can see that, or swapped over to Ruthenian culture and formed the country. You can see he lost a lot of this land to Russia, so I guess Russia was cooperating and made some sort of deal to let him have to claim, looks like three states or so that are formerly Ruthenian or formerly Lithuanian, because that's Lithuanian core, Lithuanian core, Lithuanian, not Lithuanian, but this one is. So yeah, that's a lot of land that was previously Lithuania, which is now Ruthenia. Stab at 1, which should probably pump that up as soon as you can, just to get this prosperity going here. Money-wise, not too bad. 60, which is a little bit on the low side, but you got your production up, which is quite good. And now that you have this gold mine, is it cored yet? Okay, it just needs to be, which you have it for it, and you have the points unfortunately, wow. Oh no, that's not the gold province. Okay, there we go. So yeah, gold province, dev it up to 10. Okay, you don't have that many points. You can get it up to 7, which yeah, will bump your income up by a little bit, which is nice. How's your trade set up? Oh, okay, you are... This could probably use a little bit of work. You're only collecting in Kiev, and you're losing out on anything from Krakow and the Baltic. So yeah, you should... Is Lithuania your vassal? Or no, it is Russia. Maybe Baltic is the right place to go. Maybe you could ask Russia to sell you Riga or one of the other centers of trade, just to make sure your trade power is high and you don't lose it to Dithmarschen. But being that you have all of these trade centers here and that all of your land feeds into it, you can push Crimea, Kiev, Krakow, and the Baltic, or to the Baltic, and collect there. That might be the way forward. You don't yet really have enough merchants to do all three, so that's also a consideration. Land-wise, you are well on your way to giving everything to the nobility, which is fantastic. You also don't have your free power. So I think that would be something I would consider doing. That, I mean, you give all 3 estates, all of them. Oh, you do have the Golden Liberty still. Huh. I've never played Poland, so I have no idea how that works. I'm also curious when you swapped over to Ruthenia, because you started as Poland, and I'm not sure how it works, but I would be very curious if you're able to take Polish crown while you're still Poland, and then you do your swap over to Ruthenia if you keep that, because 33% goods produced, quite good for the money. So I don't know if that's possible or not, but maybe something that you could consider for the next run. Done some building, a lot of building still to be done on all of your good trade goods. Oh yeah, lots and lots of building to do. So yeah. Also, I am unsure how the rule would have worked. You took all of Silesia, which is, of course, pretty good land. Lots of some highland forts and some farmlands to develop. But I know there's the no snaking rule against players. But if this is a subject of that player, I'm curious if that applies still. But if it didn't, I would have considered maybe snaking also for this gold mine, as you have so much building to do that you really need the extra income. So definitely fix out your trade, prosperity we looked at, and your development, which is still relatively low. Yeah, a lot of things below 10 in good farmland and grassland provinces. So you have very, very good scaling ability right now with all of that. Ideas, you've gone the basics, quantity, eco, and all that. Ooh, lots of cores to still make. Damn. Yeah, you got some things that aren't stated, so that happens when you culture convert, a little bit behind on the tech, but that will be sorted. Your Moldavia, is it a march or a vassal? It's a vassal, so I assume you're going to want to annex them soon, as well, as this is also very good land to develop. And yeah, kind of, you don't really need to go anywhere. You're kind of surrounded by players to Austria to your west and south, your big Russian friend to your east and north, And then I get Dithmarschen you'll probably eventually have a border here, so I don't think you'll be able to take any land from Brandenburg, being that Austria is now your enemy. But I don't think you really need any more land. You can easily play this as a tall Ruthenia. You've got lots of things to dev up before you really need to start looking outwards. You could also go further south into all of the Caucasus. I'm not sure what Russia wants, but that is that's probably a good way to go, as a good chunk of this land is Crimea node, which feeds into you. And if you can get any land in like the Persia node, like if you can get Yerevan and Shirvan here to start, like look at all the money in Persia. Persia is a rich node. So maybe to help fix your money issues, you should probably take trade for your next idea, so you can start pushing all these land trade nodes into either Krakow or the Baltic. And yeah, otherwise you're going to be just continuing to play tall, build up, or maybe, depending on how much of a help Russia is, and if you want to talk to Andalusia and or France, you could perhaps sandwich and gank Austria and just take more land rather than develop your own. So, looking also to be in a good spot, is a great power, just by a hair. So that's, yeah, strong nation. Looking good. So move over on to Russia. Russia, probably, yeah, #1 power in Europe, followed closely by Austria, and second overall in the world to Bengal. Tech-wise, doing quite well. You could just, wait a bit for the discount to go in. Curious, you are not yet developed institution. Maybe you're saving these points to do that, although deving admin would be meh. Probably want to try and dev that up as soon as you can. Gone quantity eco defensive, which I guess sort of somewhat makes sense for Russia. Morale is good. Your force limit should be massive. Yep, 260. Morale very high too. How have you gone it so high? His defensive helps with that, so yeah, definitely the highest morale that we've seen, so not at all a force to be messed with. Really high patriarch authority, so yeah, you get discipline from that. Eating Sweden, I'm curious what land you view as yours. You have Livonian Order as your march, and you have still quite a bit of steppe lands and Siberia to move into. You're slowly expanding there. Missing one province, so just press the button and expand, so you should probably do that. Yeah, maybe considering fighting the horde of Uzbek for land. Got no guy here who is guaranteed by just Timurids, and so that's probably free land that you can snipe from under Uzbek's nose if you don't already have an agreement. A little bit of loans. Yeah, how are you doing on money, Russia? Money is often a problem for Russia, so yeah, you have 120 income, which is quite high, but you're spending quite a bit on interest, and really your army. Damn. What does your army consist of? Yeah, you just got 24 cannons, a lot of horses, so maybe it's worth considering disbanding some of those just to bring your income up. Like, how's your prosperity? Yeah, you got all this prosperity, so really, yeah, losing this much money is not good. That you probably next idea also needs to be trade, just because there is so many like trade nodes. Like you're losing all this money from Astrakhan right now, so probably you want to move this merchant from Kiev, send it to Astrakhan. Because right now you're stealing 5 ducats from your friend, and you're losing all this money that isn't then going to your friend because no one can steer it from Crimea right now. So I think that should probably up your income by 6 or 7, since you should probably, with a merchant here, that's going to transfer at the very least 5 or 6, and then transfer there and multiply it here at the home node. So yeah, that actually might get you close to 10 more ducats of income. As for like development, I guess, as one would expect with Russia, all of your land is poorly devved. You probably don't have a lot of buildings, which, I mean, you're currently quite poor. Some manufactories can be built. You do have the gold mine, don't you? Where is it? Yeah, here it is. And you are swapping it, and you have devved it up. So, yeah, definitely money is your biggest issue here. So, but otherwise, you're really bloody strong. Maybe you could... No, I don't think fighting a player for money makes sense. Oh, you are allied with Uzbek. So I'm curious if that's going to last. But, yeah. I mean, it's strong. You have a money problem. But that's about it. You're also about to give everything to your nobility. And you do have your points, which is great. So once you're able to do that, you're going to be really goddamn strong. You can go ahead and press that whenever you get back into the game. Really great great king. Crap heir should remove immediately. And maybe, do you have you do have your focus set to military, so that's good. But I don't know how much to say. Like I guess your expansion, you're obviously moving into the free land of Scandinavia, so I'm curious if you think that Dithmarschen is going to be, are you going to stop here and be friends with Dithmarschen, or is this your way to go into Europe, go through Scandinavia and into North Germany? You could, and depending on what your deals with Uzbek are, you can either go through Horde lands into Persia, or you can try and move into Anatolia and the Caucasus through this way. So, it's still lots of ways for Russia to get even bigger and stronger. With that, move to the Mamluks. I guess they're Africa, that I didn't really deal with when we first looked at Africa, but we're back. And I have heard, Mamluks has taken a bite out of the Ottomans, but they've been having a rough go of it from what I've heard. They've had lots of rebel problems. So first thing to look at is money, which is low. And Alexandria's normally a very rich node, but I guess, yeah, a lot of devastation in their land. So I don't know if this is the mod. Lots of cultures that aren't. Is everything stated? Okay, you have a lot of unstated provinces up here, so that could probably help you. Oh yeah, I'm very behind in ideas. Tech, you're not doing too bad on. And your estates are kind of non-existent and a mess. So this is probably something that you should do immediately. Assign them some privileges. You don't have the crown land to get the monarch power from them, but like how your dev, other than your home node is relatively low, although Lebanon looks good. But it's your army and so your making a little bit of money, but there's no way that you can support a full army, let alone a cannon stack. So you basically look dead in the water if anyone looks at you wrong. So you're getting some support from Andalusia, it looks like. But I suppose Andalusia might also look at you as free real estate, possibly. That I would be nervous, depending on how much Andalusia is a friend to you and how much you trust them. And also Sokoto moving in here would make me nervous, as you now share a border with someone that is quite strong while you are quite weak. So let's look at ways to make... how's your autonomy doing? That might be part of the reason why you're so weak. Oh, your autonomy is relatively low. What's the problem? What's gone so wrong? Oh, you do have your free money thing, so you should definitely debase, take some free money. And the ideas were the bog standard ones, maybe take trade next, as you're looking like you're moving into Hormuz, which is definitely the direction you want to go. That's a rich node, gets lots of Indian trade money, and it feeds all the way through Basra, Aleppo, back into Alexandria. Maybe you can beat Uzbek and Russia into Persia, but being the fact that you're so weak, it might be better to just diplo them and come to an agreement for how you divide Timurids up, because if you go over what they view as their natural land, I think you can just be rolled over without some serious support. Yeah, also moving into Ottoman, so that might be more free land for you. Probably go that way instead. Yeah, your governing capacity is nowhere near cap, so I'm not completely sure why you haven't stated all of these. Yeah, it's all Turkish too, so if you state it, you can easily promote it. You've got the extra slots. You got some vassals to help you with. Yeah, and you've got a lot of unstated things here. Maybe if you aren't focusing admin, yeah, maybe focusing admin so you can get all of your things stated. Oh, well, look at this. Your ruler is great stats, but crap traits. Your power projection is gone. Is there no? Yeah, you should probably try and fight Ottomans again. Get a humiliate on them. Get your power projection up for some free monarch points. Yeah, maybe try and make friends with Mawar. They're your immediate neighbor across the Arabian Sea. I would think that Mawar would want to move into the Timurids. So in your current state, I would avoid all player conflict if I can. And yeah, looking rough. I'm not really sure how you can fix your country. Some workshops for lots and lots of money. So you definitely want to build those. You've got a bit of a bank, so that will go a long way to help you. Also, is there any gold mines around here? I don't think there is. Yeah, I think moving into Ottomans is good. Definitely the thing to do early, but I'm wondering if you should have moved into Ethiopia sooner. I'm not sure when your problems happened, but getting a few gold mines would definitely have helped with your money situation earlier or later on, or now if you had those. Now you've basically been cut off by Sokoto, and I don't think you can compete for Ethiopia to move in and take those. So yeah, no, I guess Diplo is your salvation. You need to sit, get your country in order, probably take trade ideas next and hope that no one looks at you too funny. Yeah, a bit of a rough situation to be in, but that's how it is. So let's move on to Uzbek. What is Uzbek again? I should know this. We have an Uzbek in the other game. It's SHY. I'm curious why it's SHY instead of the obvious one. So we have the horde of Uzbek here, looking nice and hardy and big. He's no longer a disgusting snake that he was at the start of the first session. So for those that don't know, I started as a Chi player, and Uzbek started here in 1444, and by 1451 he was on the border here with me fighting over an AI player. He got there first, vassalized them, got me in a war, and killed me, and I had to move over. So he's got himself a very, very nice chunk of China over here, plus all of the Horde lands. He hasn't eaten Chagatai yet, which probably he should, so that he can get. Where is it? There's a gold province here. So yeah, Horde always has money issues. So yeah, being that there's only one gold province in basically all of Central Asia, that unless you can grab this one from under Russia's nose somehow, that should generally be a priority, I think, for most hordes, just to keep your money up. As you can see, Uzbek, really, really big, and really, really, really poor. He's basically as poor as Milan with triple his development. You are currently collecting in Samarkand with very low trade power here, so that should probably tell you what Uzbek's priority is take over the rest of the Samarkand trade node and consolidate it, maybe even move into Persia. You are allied with Russia, so I don't know what the terms of your deal are, but yeah, if you're Uzbek, and I would very much be like this country looks strong, or can be strong, if you're able to consolidate what you do have. You're behind in ideas, unfortunately, and yeah, admin tech only at level 8, but you're a horde, that's to be expected. But I think you have the Beijing trade node, so if you're able to put merchants in all these trade nodes, push from Jiren, push from Beijing, Yumen, Siberia, into Samarkand, and then maybe into Persia, that should be the way that you turn a profit. And once the horde starts making money, it becomes scary, because yeah, force limit 125 with absolutely no way in hell that they can field those numbers at all anytime soon. I am curious. Yeah, I don't think they've gone bankrupt yet this session, but the way it is, if I was Russia and I knew Uzbek was this poor and this below your own force limit, I would be very strongly considering just a war. Like Russia can probably even cut down their army a little bit and fight Uzbek, and as long as they don't lose, they will win, because Uzbek will have to go bankrupt eventually. Because there's to fight Russia, Uzbek will have to they'd have to build up to at least 100, if not go over their force limit, as Russia's force limit we saw was like 250 almost. So even with horde cavalry on flat lands, I don't think he can overcome that numbers disadvantage. So it might be in Russia's interest to to take them out early. They've also almost done their government reforms. I assume they're saving up so that they can go into a theocracy. You can also look, what is their average autonomy? Only 15, which is quite good for a horde. So some land that they can reduce autonomy in, but I guess as I talked to the Uzbek player briefly in the Discord, and yeah, the thing with the mod is wrong cultured things are very, very quickly or very, very bad. They double all of the malices that you normally get. So let's find something that is not promoted. Yeah, so he's got Jin. It is a wrong culture. He gets half the tax, half the manpower, and half the unrest. He does still get all of the production, I believe. Yeah. Although the wrong religion does the good produce, so that hurts. So his problem is that he is big, and half of his land is worth only half as much. So you see he's at about 1,000 development, but he's got 10, 25, only 35% of his land gives him anything. The other 65% plus is basically 60% useless. So he's really only sitting on like 400 or 500 effective dev. So he looks big, but relatively fragile. I'm curious if he's managed to. I don't think easy guess that he's got very few buildings. Yeah, he's had to build, or those are probably from AI, but also probably tax himself as, his tax is still his main income route, which is not something that's long-term sustainable. So quickest way for him to turn this country around is just eat the Timurids. I don't know if he can. I don't think culture shifting or nation swapping would really be in the cards. And also curious. Oh, he can form the UN. Which, does this give him empire? Okay, no, it doesn't. He has to have empire to get it. So no, well, he will. UN ideas should be strong. I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but then his big problem is going to be money and all of his unrest. So I'm also curious if he's going the religious ideas, which I think some people are talking about the culture conversion ideas, which is with which one? Culture conversion. I seem. Oh, there it is. It's with influence idea. So, yeah. Well, that's influence. So, I don't think that's something that he really wants to go for. Influence. Religion will definitely help to convert all of his lands, which he probably should do. And he also has this adherence thing to. Oh no, he already has high corruption, so he should probably just use it itself. But a little bit of a precarious situation if Russia or Shu were to turn on him. But let's go ahead and move into India. What is Mawar's tag? MER. Okay. So Mawar, one of the two countries in India, seems to have acquired his nice chunk. Obviously some sort of border deal here with Bengal. Nice sized army drilling. High force limit, high manpower. Not the strongest that we've seen. Income, just a little bit under 100. Respectable. I am curious where he's planning on going next. He doesn't have any cores or claims or any subjects that I can see with reconquest. So probably were I him, I'd be moving into Bamanis as soon as I could. This is all delicious, delicious land, and also depending on what Bengal has claimed for themselves, take your share. Where are you on admin? You're a little bit behind on admin. Your ruler's good aside from that, so as long as you're not fighting any players, that shouldn't be a problem. You've got your estates well set up. You're also well on your way to getting max crown land. Definitely, I would say you should probably fight the Timurids. I'm not sure how they got that from you. Don't know what happened there, if you lost to the AI or that, or they, I don't know. But either way, Timurids, you should be stronger than Timurids. Yeah, their army is only 65k, and if you're not planning on going into here, at the very least, you should get your fort line. Get some. Yeah, there's 2 mountain forts here, mountains. So if your plan or your deal with Bengal is that you get the rest of this, you definitely need this to help defend it from Russia, from Uzbek, from Mamluks if they move into here and get strong. If Baluchistan, you cannot ally or you cannot eat either. This is a very good mountain fort here that blocks entry completely. So that should be yours, another mountain fort here. So even if you're not interested in the core Persian lands, take the mountain forts, take the fort line, because everything else here is flat, and you do not want to be fighting a defensive war on flat land. As for devastation, you've got not as much prosperity as I think you should have. Like, you are basically playing PvE, as only 2 people in India means it's just, you just split the continent in half and you're friends for life. So don't really know what's happened with that, or if they're just new acquisitions, but you should be getting those up, increase your money. Gujarat also is probably not the best node for you. Like, I really think that you should push into Hormuz and claim that as your trade node, because you can push everything from India into Hormuz and it only goes out one way, whereas Gujarat is going out 3 ways. And later on, if trade isn't your biggest income now, it will be later. So I think this should be your expansion and PvP priority. Idea-wise, you have gone, bog standard, which is fine and dandy. Mawar idea is very good for war. Get some discipline, combat ability, and cost. Well, you also have 10% dev cost in your ideas. Hot damn. So I don't think you need to be swapping your nation to Punjab or anything else. You have gone general estates, which is why you're choosing your king, and which can be good. I mean, not too much to say right now. You still don't have any immediate enemies as long as Bengal stays your friend. Just continue to PvE. Maybe now you do have your focus on admin, and your power projection is high, so do what you can to keep it there. Timurids is your rival. I think you should immediately fight him. Take the forts, take the trade centers in they're a little bit far away, but yes, snake up to the coast, block the Mamluks out of it. Maybe with Mamluks trade power idea or money problems, and your soon to be very good money, you can maybe ask to buy this land off of him in exchange for cooperation or something else. But I think holding Hormuz is essential for the long-term health of your nation. But yeah, no, strong spot. Still lots to do and lots of ways to become stronger. Move over to Bengal, whose tag I forgot as well. It's BNG. So Bengal, number one great power, rich as Croesus, with crap king and a crap heir. So please, my friend, immediately disinherit that person. He is inbred to all hell. With a massive bank that you're sitting on and no manpower to speak of. Yeah, highest income in the game, 150. Oh, yeah, stupid thing, yeah. So you're making 45 ducats a year, mostly from trade in Bengal, which makes sense. Moved into Burma, and you now have a border with Malaya. So you're now, oh, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Okay, so you now have a contact point with 3 people, or rather 2 people in this area, so that could be a place of contact. You share a border with Shu, just about, and Malaya. You are allied with Malaya themselves, and I'm curious, depending on how things set up. Oh yeah, you're stealing money from Malaya. You're curious what he thinks of that. Are you trade shipping him? Or is this just because you're downstream? No trade ships, that's just downstream. You're getting half of his money. So yeah, if I was Malaya, I would not be very happy with that. So I guess for now, I think you're lucky that he's friendly with you. Because if I saw that as Malaya, I would immediately be trying to coordinate with Shu and look for that. You could also maybe, since you're able to do that, if you have better trade power than Malaya, maybe you could do some sort of trade agreement with him and keep him on your side. You've got the quantity, quality, eco stuff going on. Your estates are set up, although I don't see the... Yeah, you're not getting the power, are you? Oh yeah, you're not, but you are also like very, very high crown land, so I guess you probably don't want to do that. Oh no, well, you have to do that before you start selling. I mean, I feel like that the monarch points are very undervalued, it seems to me. But your force limit quite high, your military quality itself good discipline, but your morale is a little bit low. I don't think you have any in your national ideas, do you? No, you do not. So then my next wonder would be, you do have the Nepal vassal. Are you going to try and switch over to Nepal itself? It would be expensive and use a lot of admin to do it, but if you're friends with everyone around you, I think you have time for that. Although, oh, what the? Russia was here. Why were we fighting Russia? Well, there's a white peace, but he actually marched all the way down to you. Maybe you were you fighting Uzbek? No. No idea what happened there. Quite curious. Tech-wise, you're up. we could probably hire some better advisors with all of your money. You are hot, well over your Diplo relations, which, I mean, can probably drop a few of those just for extra monarch points. Prosperity-wise, you do not actually have any. So you were actually fighting Russia for a little bit? Wait, what has happened? I don't know how you lost all of this. This is, well, your home, your sort of essential area seems to be that's going to come back online soon, but well, that means you're even richer than we thought once it gets going. Yeah. Once again, slightly confused what happened, but strategically looking, country seems to be quite strong. You've got your mountain forts to the north. If you are friends with Malaya and Mawar, then you're basically perfectly protected, because I know that Malaya is going naval Malaya, and you've got very good forts on your border with Shu. Like, that's a mountain fort. You've got mountains up here, and these are jungles and or highland, yeah, mountains in your vassal as well. So unsure if you are friendly or not with Shu, but if you do not already have a like sort of agreement or something with him, then probably need to build up your fort along the mountains a little bit, but I think you're quite strong and have the alliances to do basically anything. How have you devved? Not so much yet, but I know got a lot of good farmlands up here to grab and to eat. So very strong position for Bengal. Army strong, everything strong. Manpower is a bit low, and have you been building up properly with all that money? Yeah, that's a lot of manufactories built already. Still more to do. Lots of grain provinces when you could get those soldier households, so your army will go up. Yeah, look at all those manufactories. That's what years and years of PvE do. Still lots of manpower and force limit to build as well. So I'm going to scale really well. Number one, great power, and you look like it. Okay, let's move on to the mentioned Malaya. Malaya also have a PvE game. It appears if you're friendly with what's its face? With Bengal, and you've got your sort of border set up on the edge of the trade node. That looks good for you. Whoa, wait. Okay. This is way poorer of a Malaya than you should be. What has happened? Yeah, you're only making 21 ducats in a year. Oh, okay, so part of it is you do not have any of your trade things upgraded, so that's partly why Bengal is stealing all of your money. Like, what is your trade efficiency? Yeah, 41%, so 13 times 40%. Well, I guess Bengal is the number one. Yeah, he's taking all of it. So Bengal moves as a merchant. That's 12 times 40 equals like a little bit shy of another 20 ducats that you can grab from that. You have killed all of the AI. And yeah, the problem with Malay, because everything is spices, you are unable to build any manufactories for a few more techs. And you've done the horrible thing of this, so I'm not going to mention this anymore. Idea-wise, you're way behind in ideas as well. Holy. What? Uh-oh. You're King's crap. Your oh. Yeah, okay, I do not like the look of this Malaya. And, okay, you are getting all your points, but you can probably give some more privileges as well. And, like, I think you are a lot weaker than you should be. Yeah, like, I'm not sure if expansion is the right idea to take. Like, you are slowly colonizing. Where's your colonist? Okay, you are going over your limit, which is good, but the speed is just so slow. You don't have your ideas. I'm curious if you... Oh my god, your mill tech is so far behind too. Yeah, and now you're going to have to probably dev this institution. Although I definitely think you should ask Bengal to do it and get it from him, because you do not have the monarch points to spare. Yeah, lots of land that's missing. Yeah, probably need... Yeah, ooh, no buildings have been done there. Yeah, you don't have... yeah. I'm curious how you went about expanding here, if it was just straight up conquest and annexing, or if you used any vassals to do it as well, because, yeah, while normally being behind in this is okay, what you need is, because everything here is like all spices and Chinaware, and where's a spice pop? You're going to need, what is it? Yeah, it's tech Diplotech 14, so not admin tech, but there's where's it? It's the wood that needs admin tech 16 to build all of these other manufactories. And as Malaya, you get those, your income should go with. Oh, I see massive autonomy high. Maybe that's what's wrong. Wait, what? I'm sorry, I don't... your land is all like above 80-90% autonomy. I mean, that's why you have no money. That's why you have 21,000 manpower on 700 dev. I genuinely don't know what has gone wrong. Okay, we haven't promoted any cultures, so immediately do that. What's your... Yeah, as much as you would normally want to have this with some strong cultures to promote, you definitely need the autonomy reduction. So, this is a long road to recovery. You have to decrease autonomy. You have to somehow ask Bengal to stop stealing your money, but unless Bengal is like really friendly with you, I wouldn't. There's nothing you can do about it. You've got your trade ships not doing anything right now. You should at least send these to protect your trade in Malacca. You are... Like, unless something changes, I think you're Japan food. Japan has united his island. He's taken Taiwan, working on Korea and the Philippines. And unless he's... you are allied with him, which is quite nice for you. But unless you have some way of keeping him friendly or not, you can... He might just be able to eat you in 20-30 years if he sees how weak you are. So yeah, you gotta find some way to turn this around. You gotta decrease your autonomy, build up some buildings, skimp on your military as much as possible to only keep them to fight rebels, really, and probably delete all of your heavies. Because you have, how many heavies do you have? Just the 3 heavies here. Yeah, so delete your heavies, stop paying for them, or mothball them or something. You gotta sell your crown land as well, just to start getting your income up. No offensive wars, just colonize your islands as you can and build. Because I'm sorry to say it's looking a little grim here. So then we'll move on to the one surviving Chinese player of Shu, who is not quite a great power but has a very sizable chunk of China. His autonomy is a little bit on the high side at 20%. So I don't know if it's from newly conquered provinces, but when you can probably decrease that. Is this an ally or a vassal? It's a vassal of Uzbek. Okay. And that is your vassal as well. So, problem with Shu is you are a little bit boxed in. So, what are we? You're allied with Uzbek and Japan. We have Kham Dali. We have, okay, most of this area as a vassal, so I don't know if there's a deal again with Bengal or not, but this is the last bit of free land to take, so I assume you're going to try and feed that to your vassal as soon as you can and claim it for yourself. But strategically, I guess there are some problems with this country. We see that our trade node is Canton, which I think is, maybe it's Ivory Coast and Caribbean are the only other ones that feed to 4 different trade nodes, but luckily for now you're not losing too much money, but it's not good. We go ahead, look at your income. Only 10 is from trade, when I think in Asia your trade can definitely be a lot higher, especially with all of the amazing trade goods that China has. Like, you got so much tea, there's gems and silk and copper, which is good, China ware, which is fantastic. So I think just because your trade is Canton and you can only get Chengdu to feed into it, and if you get ships maybe Hangzhou, you're losing out on a lot of money. So while you're allied with Uzbek, and that might have made sense before, with your force limit and the shape that we saw Uzbek in, that maybe you want to turn on him. If you can diplo up Russia and turn it into a gank, or even get Japan to help with you. Like, I don't even think you'd need Russia with that. Like, this feels rude of Uzbek to do to you. If we go into terrain, you can see this is all the good Chinese land, all the farmlands here. And there's some down south, but mostly what you're stuck with is mountains, highlands, and jungle. So, were I Shu, I would view this basically as mine by right of Uzbek being weaker than me. Like, you don't have the biggest economy, but you're still earning quite a bit more than Uzbek is. And you bring anyone else in, and it's going to look nice for you. You also have the gold mine, which Uzbek doesn't have yet, which is fairly major. Missing out on advisors. But that's okay for now. You're well on your way to getting Crown Land. However, you are missing out on admin and dip power. So I've said how I think about it a few times. You're on time for tech, and I'm not sure if you're going to dev the institution or ask for someone else to do it for you. But oh yeah, and you have swapped Shinto. I know the Chinese missions in this give you the ability to choose your faith after you build a certain amount of temples. Excuse me. So strategically, I think after you're stuck in here, your only way else to expand is back into Chinese lands claimed by Uzbek. So I think that should probably be where you're going. You also have a lot of unstated things, even though you have the admin to spare. So I definitely think you should be doing that. Prosperity-wise, as it should be, quite high everywhere, as it's been most PvE once you made friends with Uzbek and I died on Xi. Your king is good, your heir is good. But the problem is your trade, which, the other reason, not just for the farmlands that you'd want it, is to claim the Beijing trade node. As without it, I think any Chinese or East Asian country is going to be fairly poor because everything here feeds into it. And with your ideas being the standard, you can maybe get trade as your next, just because you're going to need you're going to want immersion for Xi'an, you're going to want immersion for Hangzhou, for Canton, Chengdu, and Jiren eventually, if you can claim any of that land. So if you are able to unite China, you have united China, you are going to be strong. Your natural enemy, probably in that case and probably anyway, is Bengal. And as it is, I don't think you are anywhere strong enough to fight Bengal, especially if Mawar were to help. So you should maintain this Japanese alliance for basically at all costs. And I thought I saw that, no, you're not friends with Malaya, so also that could be another way for you to go if you decide that you want to maintain friends with Uzbek and just go south. You could try and move in on Malaya. However, if Bengal is protecting them, I don't think that's currently feasible. But looking pretty good overall for now. A ways to go, lots of buildings to make. No manpower yet. No force limit buildings yet. Definitely need to get that manpower up. And a force limit of 132 is respectable. You've got a lot of cannons, so you don't... you could definitely probably afford to field just under your force limit more if you go into debt. So you can definitely beat Uzbek in a 1v1, especially if you surprise him and get on the mountain forts first. Or if anyone else helps you, I think it's a rout. So with that said, let's move on to Japan. So Japan has united his island, is doing Japanese things of genociding Koreans and Taiwanese. He's colonizing the Philippines. He does have Tondo as vassal, while Malaya has Manila. We are currently allied with Malaya, which, from what we've just seen, might be a little bit questionable. And you've gone full-on expansion. So do we have colonies in the New World? We do have some land in the New World. So looking to get a California and or Cascadia colony. Also, if you watch the front of this, you'll know there's currently no one in Mexico. So if you don't care about Asian land outside of Korea, then that could very well be where you want to go next. Curious, yeah, if Shu could convince you to go in on Uzbek, as I said, you can probably claim most of the Manchu lands as your own. Uzbek hasn't yet taken them yet. Oh, he does have High C as a vassal, so I'm wondering if you view this as your rightful territory, so that could be a reason for you to fight Uzbek. Again, yeah, Malaya we saw was quite weak, so you can move in on that way if you so desire. Money-wise, you're not doing too much better than Shu, but you are currently double of Malaya, and probably 50% higher than Uzbek as well. Your advisors are kind of low. Maybe you can push them up to level 2 and still afford everything. Yeah, once again, you've got the high crown land, but without the monarch points. I think that, well, yes, I still think that's a mistake, and I'm going to endlessly harp on about it. Your force limit is relatively low, but you can afford to field it, but maybe not the cannons. So if you do fight anyone, I think you should definitely ask Shu to bring the cannons and you bring the infantry. Institution-wise, you have not yet tried to spawn the institution, although Uzbek has, so that's going to be interesting if he's going to be sharing it to you guys, or if you or Shu will dev it yourself and then share. What? No prosperity yet. What is that? I don't know why, but everything's like the same far back, so this is going to take a few years to fix, but once you get your prosperity up, your income should shoot up by at least 10%, if not more. Dev-wise, Japan is generally a good place to dev. You have done some, but there's plenty to do, although, yeah, mostly hill, so will take a little bit. How have you gone building? Built some town. Not very much, so you definitely need to find a way to acquire money. Conquering Korea will help. You've got claims on the rest, so that should be yours in your next war whenever you want. And once you get your colonies up, especially if you're able to snatch Mexico from underneath Portugal or Britain's nose, that should help your money, or moving into Malaya will help your money once that god-awful autonomy goes away. Yeah. Perhaps you could also negotiate with Shu for a little slice of some other land in the Beijing node if you do fight that, and form some sort of trade agreement in Beijing. And being that you have gone for the exploration stuff, maybe you get economics as next, or another mill idea, depending on which way you want to go. So, I think that about does it for the world. I don't think I've missed anyone. We've seen there's quite a few very strong countries, with Bengal and Austria and Russia probably claiming the top spots for global powers. Lots of others are looking strong, and there's a few that are looking suspiciously weak. So, will be interesting to see on Thursday if anyone is going to exploit those differences, how alliances shift, and what ends up happening. This is also the first game played on the balance mod that we're using on this server, which changes some ideas. It increases unrest and penalties for having wrong religion, wrong culture, which we can see really affecting some nations more than others. They're definitely learning a little bit how to live and what to change with this mod, and maybe some suggestions for for when it's updated and the next game. So, going to be an interesting next session. Look forward to playing it, and thank you everyone for watching.